With over 1,000 episodes, the Pokémon anime is bound to have a few episodes that are less than kosher. Most of these were in the original series as they were still gaining their footing, and they were all banned for several different reasons. But today I'd like to discuss the perfect episode to start off the summer, Beauty and the Beach. Now this one is a really interesting one. I'm sure a good amount of us know the story behind it. This episode did actually air in the United States, though it was heavily edited. It's never seen a release in the US aside from the 2 airings and doesn't appear on streaming services, neither Netflix or Pokemon TV. It should be right about here, but it isn't. Kind of odd they went through the trouble of dubbing it in English only to ultimately leave it out of the collections later on. And so there are actually 2 different versions of this one episode. A shortened English version that cuts out some of the obscene scenes, and the original Japanese. Although if you're watching it on certain websites, they stitch both episodes together, which is the best way to view it.
What'd I do? You know it's illegal, download
Pokemon episodes.
I'm taking you in.
The episode sees our heroes deciding to take a day off at the beach, which honestly is well deserved as this episode is right after the fantastic shipwreck arc, which I really should cover at a later time.
It's just weird to see you looking like a girl. Ready? Well, see how weird this looks.
But they don't get to rest for long as they somehow end up crashing a boat. They run into the boat's owner who really needs to calm down.
You remind me of my granddaughter.
Stop! They get roped into helping this creep at his restaurant, and Team Rocket gets hoodwinked into helping the rival restaurant. So in a plot straight out of Shokugeki no Soma, the race is on to have the best restaurant. Logically, this leads to them advertising at and participating in a beauty contest where we encounter the reason this episode is so controversial. James is packing heat! Of course, things go even more awry, and it ends with a typical climactic battle against one of Team Rocket's machines, and somehow we get one of those all's well that ends well kind of endings. The episode itself is fine. I hear a lot of people say that it's weird, which, well, yeah, it is, but a lot of the Pokemon anime as a whole is kind of weird, especially the first few seasons. As most of us know, this episode was edited and eventually left out of canon due to the content seen as inappropriate. Again, this is one of the earlier episodes, so Pokemon as a whole wasn't really solidified, and on top of that, nobody was sure of the impact it would have in the West. Because, in case we forgot, Pokemon is an anime, and oftentimes anime doesn't always tend to take the US into consideration during production. Japanese media is very different and tends to be more comfortable with themes seen as more risque here in the US, such as boob humor, which we see with James in this episode. And thus the trope of beach episodes has become very prevalent in anime in order to take advantage of this. Also, there is a lot of money to be made in swimsuit variants of anime characters. Thankfully, Pokemon doesn't partake much in this merchandising, but the anime still utilizes beach episodes as it's a pretty well established trope. Doing so up until Sun and Moon, but of course they're all much more tame and they're meant for fun, unlike the first episode. And that is where we are with Beauty at the Beach. I do agree though that it might be best to just sweep this episode under the rug. When this episode was produced, it made much more sense to be as weird as it is. Especially because while Pokemon does have a lot of elements of a battle shonen anime, and there's a big tournament at the end, I've more recently realized that Pokemon is predominantly a comedy-oriented anime, even with more of the recent episodes. A good amount of episodes and probably half of the original series would be considered quote-unquote filler by typical fans. But I don't really think this should apply to Pokemon. I'll probably talk more about this at a later time, but my point is that this episode can be, and is very easily removed from the canon without losing too much in the grand scheme of the series. The quote-unquote weird elements in this episode help with justifying its removal. But where really can we draw the line with weird in the Pokemon anime? When the previous episode had an island of gigantic robotic Pokemon, and the next episode has an army of Tentacool terrorizing a city. What I'm trying to say is, this is actually a pretty normal episode for the Pokemon series and anime as a whole. So I feel like the English dub with its edits could easily be put onto streaming services without too many problems. Maybe. The scene with James is already gone, so just get rid of this creep's facial expression and dialogue here and we might be good, but in the end I totally understand why this hasn't happened. It's already decanonized and it might just be best to let sleeping dogs lie. Pokemon has had enough controversies in the past and that's the reason they're so careful nowadays, because it's become such a worldwide phenomenon that has solidified a family-friendly tone. And why not just keep things that way, even when retroactively working with old content being put onto new platforms? But anyway, that's one beach episode that we won't be seeing too much of anytime soon. But anyway, hey, this is GatorEX, and let me know what you think. Sadly, it's not as sunny as I'd like it to be to enjoy a nice summer, and the beaches are closed and everything. But let me know what you think about today's episode, today's video, and let me know if you've got a better situation at your beach or your pool, wherever you are. I'm so lightheaded I had to blow this up, but let's head inside where it's brighter. So yeah, anyway, let me know what you think. Do you think that this episode is fine, harmless? Do you think it deserves to be not talked about and not placed on Netflix, Pokemon TV, all that stuff? Like I said, I think it's fine, not as weird as it could be or weird as some people make it out to be, but definitely, yeah, it's fine if you don't watch it, if you skip the episode, if it's decanonized, all of that. It's a weird one, yeah, definitely, for sure, but I mean, you know, kind of fun, get in the summer mood. But anyway, if you enjoyed the content, remember to leave a like and subscribe to show your support. You can enable notifications by clicking that bell icon next to the subscribe button. This will make sure you see each new video as it comes out, and will make you a member of the Chingling Squad. Anyway, this has been GatorEX. Have a nice day. I'm real out of breath from blowing up that gator.